which was the Rams and 49ers. They had already met twice earlier this season. Obviously, they're division rivals. Niners won the first two times. Actually, I think they won the previous six meetings. It was different this time. The Rams pulled through and beat them 20-17. Wild game, kind of. What were your thoughts in regards to this one?
This was another really good game, and obviously the big narrative around this one so far has been Jimmy Garoppolo. It came out today that they're exploring trade partners, and his time there is probably done, and all that. But I feel like that sort of conversation's like pretty. It's exhausted. Like everybody knows what Jimmy G is, and we know that this was probably his last hurrah unless they like won a Super Bowl. But the fact that they drafted Trey Lance, we kind of knew what it was. But otherwise, credit to the Rams. They ran the ball 29 times and they had like no success with it, but they stayed patient with it. Like we, even harp on that they never gave up on it. And so the Niners defense still had to respect it. They averaged 2.4 yards per carry. Like it was pretty abysmal. But they stayed patient with it. They did it. But really the big difference maker here was Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham. Both went for over 100 yards. OBJ had 9 catches, 113. Cooper Kupp 11 catches, 142, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, the stars came out and they were the difference maker in this one. And I think the Rams' strategy of going all in, trading for Stafford, Von Miller, signing OBJ, it's all coming to fruition. And obviously we'll get into our Super Bowl picks, at a different recording. But at this point for them, and we talked about it before the year, it's Super Bowl or bust. If they don't win, you got an off season where you got cap issues, you got no draft picks. How can you resign people? You got, Stafford's coming up on an extension. I think not this year, but the next. Von Miller's and OBJ are free agents. So you got a lot of question marks. Meanwhile, the 49ers, I feel like, are in the exact opposite positions where they have a lot of cap space. They have young players that they can bring into the fold, like Trey Lance. They can make them even better. And so, two teams that sort of feel like they have opposite futures, but the Rams came out on top in this one. I thought it was a really good game. Major shout out to the run defense. They only allowed 50 rushing yards against the most run heavy team in the league. They also forced them to throw a lot more. They threw this ball 30 times as opposed to 20 rushing attempts. And I think I saw some crazy stat this year that was like when the 49ers rush for over 100 yards, they're like undefeated. They're like 12-0 on the year, not 12-0, like 10-0 or something like that on the year. And when they don't, they haven't won a single game. And this is one of those games where they weren't able to do it.
Yeah, I think that stat right there is the more telling one because it's why they drafted Trey Lance. It's why they were rumored to go after Aaron Rodgers last year. Is when Kyle Shanahan, when the run game's gone, and when his pass game, isn't there, when they have to make tough throws or just off schedule stuff or plays, Jimmy G really can't be relied upon. That we saw it on the last play. I mean, got just take the sack at that point, and then but that didn't happen. And I know he had, before the interception, he had a solid game. You could say, 232 and 16, but uh, like you said, that stat is really telling, and that's why I think hopefully Trey Lance works out for them, and we'll see what happens with Jimmy G. I think I see the report that he wants to be traded to a winning situation, which we'll see. I'm not sure, especially with his. I'm not sure with his contract's big, but not like too
I
big.
think it's like 25 million.
It's not bad. I think
There.
if I remember the Niners once again shout out their front office. I remember they front loaded it, so
Yeah.
it's not that bad. But the question is I don't see a lot of winning teams trying to go after. I mean, unless maybe Pittsburgh, but I don't think
I
Pittsburgh.
mean, we got a couple of quarterbacks retiring, so you never
Yeah,
know.
we'll see, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, I mean, credit, like you said, credit the Rams though, sticking with just being patient with the run and then tying stuff off that. And Cooper Kupp went out and had a great game, and I'm really glad Odell had a great game because people were saying, he's just being force fed these or empty stats he's been given. Well, no, he made some big plays too when they needed it, and also I'm happy for Matthew Stafford, as I'm pretty sure everyone is because he's gone through a lot. He went through into Detroit, so it's good that he's finally in a winning situation. And I mean, last point, like you mentioned, that rush defense for the Rams. I mean, yeah, credit them because I was really worried they were going to get run over. But if you told me before this game that the Niners would only be held to 2.5 yards average rushing, I wouldn't really believe it. So, yeah, credit to them for hanging tough there. So, yeah, now we got Rams, Bengals, but I really don't have anything else to add in regards to this game. I know, Jaquasi Tart dropped a pick and he already took blame for it, but we talked about it not on the podcast, but that's why those guys play defense. They're mainly usually the guys with defense are a little bit more athletic than the other guys, especially wide receivers, but they may not have the great hand skills. That's not something they probably focus on. So,
And
uh,
in his defense, I mean, once again, I don't want to harp on Jimmy G in the passing game, but when the run game doesn't work, you have to be able to rely on the pass. Their last couple of drives for the Niners, they scored their touchdown to put them up 17-7. After that, they had 6 plays for 36 yards that resulted in a punt. Then they had 3 plays for -5 yards that resulted in a punt, including it was 1st and 10, pass incomplete. 2nd and 10, they take a delay game. 2nd and 15, pass incomplete. 3rd and 15, pass incomplete. They punt. And then the final drive of the game for the Niners, 1st and 10, pass incomplete. 2nd and 10, pass incomplete. Or sorry, pass complete for -3 yards. And then 3rd and 13 was the interception. So just really couldn't rely on the pass game late when you needed to. So Jaquiski Tart, obviously, if you make that interception, that's a game-changing play. But your offense, they just weren't able to do much in the end anyway. So, it probably would have been like a, 3 and out.
so, all right. So, yeah, like I mentioned, now we have Rams, Bengals, which I don't think I'm surprised that it hasn't come up that some random person put a prop on that. I guess no one really thought of that. Yeah, we'll be very excited for that one because once again, Joe Burrow going up in that O line against that Rams D line. So, but we'll talk about that when we do that. Those picks next week. But yeah, John had mentioned